Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Please confirm you can hear me by typing into the Q&A chat box. We'll start the webinar now. Please confirm you can hear me by typing into the Q&A box. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm delighted to welcome you to our webinar titled Maximizing Profits, Learn the Strategies for Investing and Managing Risk in the Nigerian Capital Market. My name is Toluwase Olukotu, and I'm the Customer Relationship Manager here at InfoWARE. I'll be your host for today's informative session. Thank you once again for joining our webinar today. Our goal for this webinar is to equip you with the knowledge and tools necessary for strategic investments in the Nigerian capital market. We understand that investing can be complex, but we know that with the right strategies and the right risk management techniques, we believe you can maximize your profits and achieve your financial goals. Thank you once again for joining. We look forward to a productive and enlightening session. Okay, to move forward, during this webinar, before I continue, please confirm you can still hear me. You can just type yes in the chat box so I will know if you can still hear me. Thank you. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining. I love what I'm seeing. I love the enthusiasm. Thank you very much. Okay, during this webinar, we encourage you to ask questions at any time. Although we have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the webinar, please feel free to submit your questions via the chat box throughout the presentation. So you can use the chat box and submit your questions anytime you have a question. Our team will make every effort to address them promptly. Thank you. Furthermore, we have a dedicated discussion board on the IMDT on the terminal titled Maximizing Profits, Learn the Strategies for Investing and Managing Risk in the Nigerian Capital Market. So if your questions are not addressed during the session, you can check the discussion box. Our team member will be available on the discussion box to provide answers and support. By the end of this session, our aim is that you have a comprehensive understanding of how to approach investing in the Nigerian capital market and how to effectively manage your risk. Thank you once again for joining. Before we proceed, I would like to invite every one of you attending this webinar to follow us on our social media pages. Staying connected with us on our Facebook, on our Twitter, on our LinkedIn, on our Instagram, and on YouTube is a way to keep up to date with our latest news, events, and upcoming webinars. Your support and your engagement are greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, we have an outstanding lineup of speakers for today's event, and each of these speakers will be bringing a wealth of knowledge and expertise. They will provide us with valuable insights and practical strategies on various aspects of investing in the Nigerian capital market. They will also be showing us tools on the IMDT that maybe you've not even used before that will help you make more and better informed decisions. Okay, they will be teaching us how to leverage advanced technologies like the AI for our investment journey. Okay, they will share their knowledge and insight, and I'm confident that their presentations will be enlightening and inspiring. Thank you once again for joining. Okay, so I'll be welcoming our first panelist, Mr. Uwa Agbonile, the Managing Director and Chief Software Architect here at InfoWARE Limited. Mr. Agbonile will be leading the segment on AI-powered strategies. This session will be filled with in-depth insight on how artificial intelligence integrated in the InfoWARE's market data terminal is transforming investment strategies. Okay, Mr. Owa, please let me know when you're ready.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Solo. Um, yes, I think I'm ready. Okay, so going to share my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, sir. I can see your screen, sir.
Okay, so I want to first of all thank everybody for taking the time to be with us this morning. Now, um, on my screen, it should be the agenda that we have that we're going to go through. So my segment is AI power strategies, which I'm going to go through in a moment. And then my team will take everybody through the rest of it. So in my case, I'm going to delve straight into the strategies, but I think I just want to pass everybody through a couple of slides just to illustrate that. Then I'm going to delve into exactly what we mean by AI strategies. So firstly, the overview of what's been going on. The Nigerian capital market has seen a surge in performance over the last few years. I was actually having a discussion with somebody recently, and the person talked about how the performance of the market has been such that even when it is somehow down, never really goes down too much. And it has to do most likely with the fact that a lot of participation is now mostly local and not foreign. We're ranked at the second best performing stock exchange globally, following Argentina recently. So in spite of currency devaluation, there's been a very high performance of the market. Just a quick overview of that. So what I'm going to go through, I'm actually going to go through a user scenario about how we use these tools, how we use these AI power strategies for doing investment. Just a quick overview is that within the market, there are over 160 listed companies, all government bonds and corporate bonds, they're also listed. There are high dividend stocks. I'll go through exactly how you can look at high dividend stocks, view those high dividend stocks, and how you can potentially take some advantage of them. The other things, of course, the ETFs are listed on the market. I'll see if I can do a quick walkthrough about how you can look at the ETFs, and also we can see components of the various indexes. Then identifying the best entry points. That's essentially where the AI strategies come into play, right? Market volatility is your friend. Sometimes the problems in market is insufficient data and how you navigate the market. I'll go through that in a moment. And this is the last slide before we jump into the interesting portion. So to overcome these challenges, we use a tool, our InfoWARE market data terminal, which is a very easily accessible tool, which some of you may already be aware of, for analyzing the various positions, determining what are potential viable entry points, for picking the kind of stocks you want to pick, depending on your investment profile, investment, your risk appetite, and then you can get into it. So with that said, I'm going to jump into the application itself. So I'm going to walk you through a use case scenario, for example, how we look at what is viable, and then how we can then use that as an entry point. Okay, I hope everybody can see my screen, and you should be looking at the InfoWARE market is at terminal right now? Can somebody please confirm? Tolu? I hope so.
Yes, sir. I can see your screen, sir.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to log in. That's my account. So now, like I said, you get into here, and the question is, what do you do? This is showing the current market situation. The market is open right now. So, and this is showing the premium stocks. If I wanted to see, like, what we're going to do, invest in, let's assume it's Zenith Bank, for example. We click the, and then you can see this bid offers. It shows you very quickly. This is real time. You can see it's blinking up there. You can see exactly the current situation in the market in terms of the fact that right now there are far more sellers than buyers. So you can see the ratio there. The other thing you can do is look at these the fundamentals and the buy sell situation of the stock. So I know that UBA is one of the ones that triggered, and I show you in a moment. You see UBA shows as a strong buy. This technical indicator again immediately shows you whether something is what you might want to buy right away or not. So you don't have to dig through a lot of stuff to get to it. So it's following about a number of signals to determine that 2 are sell, 6 neutral, and 5 buy. So it makes it a relatively strong buy. There are somewhere the signal will be even stronger and be way to the right. The other thing you can do is that right away, we have this integration with very reputable firms for providing technical analysis, fundamental analysis, like the ProShare reports. ProShare is one of the most reputable companies in the country and known outside the country as well. And they provide a lot of their reports which are available that you can look at. If you wanted to preview like the ones for Zenith Bank here, it's showing you some relevance, you can just immediately click on it. And you'll be able to preview a report from them. So while that's going on, just to give you a quick overview, you can also look at the fundamentals here very quickly. Fundamentals, quote, immediate quote. Like these are the report, like the earnings, right? You can look at directors, foreign institutional ownership. You can take a quick look at those. Then the other interesting thing you can do here is you can look at the financial statements. So it's not just about technical, but also about the direct fundamentals also is included. So you can also look at the financial statements right there. Okay, so then let me drag this off and then get to the meat of it. So now, for the AI power strategies, it's really powered by a set of commands that we have here. Although before I get into that, in case you're new to this, one of the things you want to note is that you can come to this education tab and it has a number of videos that can get you started so you're not too landed. And there's, for people who are really newbies, there's a glossary down here that you can click on to read about very, very simple fundamental stuff, just so you're aware of that. There's also this social chat room that Tolu mentioned. So even while we're here, you can always come in here and ask questions and there will be people to answer them. So to get back to the key thing here, what I wanted to show is, so we have a range of things that determine signals for trading. So first of all, the key trading signals, they're all here, right? So daily, you can see a range of signals. I mean, this may look like a whole bunch of numbers. Like, for example, bullish signals, when something moving average is 15/50. If I click on that, for example, I'll see a range of companies that I can take a look at to invest in. So, but I want to make it the simple thing that we do. We have this AI-powered command set of a different set of commands, tons of them, hundreds of them that you can use directly. So one of the ones that we've created that is internal proprietary to us is this command IMDT BSS. It's listed here, or you can type in the command right here. So just going to do that. Like anybody that's used to do, but this is right here actually. So by the way, the way you use this out of all of these commands, if there's a command that you like for example, this high dividend yield, if I simply click on the star button here, it goes into my favorite. So I don't have to keep digging through it all the time. Just a quick tip. So my most favorite commands, the ones that I use the most are here. Sometimes when I don't use it that much, I just remove it to reduce the clutter. But there's a huge range of things you can do here, including even CDN data route fundamentals and stuff like that. But to go back to what I wanted to do, is this coming again? Yeah, there we go. So if I click on this, so let me pick the yeah, oops, and back to, okay. So now, as of the 24th, right, these are the stocks that were picked, actually 24th and 25th. These are the stocks that were picked as, that triggered as good buys, right? There are some, it could be a buy or a sell. And there are some over here, if I go to the bottom, you can see the ones that is triggered to say these are potential sells. Now, of course, these are AI strategies using technical analysis to say these are suggestions for you to buy or sell. So a lot of the time, though, you want to do some additional due diligence to figure out, okay, should I buy that or not? So a quick explanation, that's a symbol, that's a date in which a trigger to buy or sell happened. These are the ones that for yesterday, 24th are the ones for 24th, case may be. These are the close, the price for close. This number here, IITR, is an internal number that InfoWARE has developed as a metric for comparing all stocks. Think of it like the way countries are compared using GDP. We decided, okay, how is, because technical analysis can be very, very complicated. How do you make it as simple as possible for somebody without going into too much jargon? How do I compare two stocks to know whether they are what, comparatively, they are what buying on? So the comparison, after digesting hundreds of signals, we came up with this thing. It has an acronym, I don't remember it right now. So, and it's a way to rank stocks. Now, the best way to use it really, though, is to rank stocks that are similar in nature. So Zenith Bank triggered and Wema Bank triggered, and we could look at any one of them and to decide, okay, do we take a position on them or not? So let me start with, say, I mean, Zenith Bank is well known. So let's take a pick at Zenith Bank. So the first thing I would do is that I would want to look at the chart. How does it look like, right? And is it probably the kind of thing that I might want to buy? Now, by default, it's showing a 1 month chart, and it shows over the 1 month alone, the last 1 month alone, from May 27 to the 26th today. And this is real time. This is the current price as of right now. Zenith has already done 14.47%. That's actually quite fantastic for just in a month, right? So, well, I might want to extend that and say, okay, let me take a look at the 6 month chart instead. The other thing you want to also potentially look at is, okay, and this is where even when you look at every stock that triggers, you also want to look at if you buy it, can you sell it? So one of the things we look at is volume. I'll include a volume chart to see, okay, is this thing reasonably well traded? Because if it has enough volume, then it means that it is liquidity. If you buy, you want to sell, you'll be able to sell. Sometimes you can buy a stock and you realize that when you want to sell, you can't because there's really no buyers available. So you want to look out for liquidity. So liquidity looks reasonable. I can see the MACD chart over here is looking upwards and getting a little bit bullish. So one thing that I do is that I'll add the 15 and 50-day moving averages. Now, one of the reasons why I do this is that this is usually 15 and 50-day moving averages are signs of a way to detect momentum. So as you can see, the 15-day here, it's actually just crossed above the 50 and the price already above both. So this is the key where this AI thing becomes very useful, because this is the crossover point. You can see this is just happening. And because it's just happening, it means that if this is going to go momentum, this is the right time to get in so that you can optimize your position. Now, the other thing you want to do is that sometimes, okay, one stock does not a market make. So you might want to say, okay, let me compare this thing to the overall, a broader market. Is the overall market in an up situation? So usually you might want to compare that against, say, an index. It could be the banking index, for example. Let's say we look at one of the things I do. I look at the NGX 30. The reason for the NGX 30 is that you can either look at the ASI or the NGX 30. The NGX 30, I personally consider it as a better representation of the market because those are the top 30th most traded stocks in the market. So if I simply select that, so I'm looking at the NGX 30. This is a collection of all the 30 top stocks in the Nigerian market, and this is the chart for the 1 year chart, and you can see it's down 33.66%. Not bad. And again, the position here shows it's heading in the right direction. One other thing you can do though is that you can change the indicator to the RSI indicator. So let me do that. If I change the RSI, it shows the RSI is over here for the NGX 30 right now. And then you can also take a look at any particular area because this chart area here is difficult to read. So I can kind of expand on it and you can stretch it out and I can see better how it looks like. I can revert back to that. So that's that. Now, one other thing, okay, so I've decided that, you know what, it looks like Zenith Bank is interesting. Okay. The other thing I can do is when a bank's also there, is I could also look at there, you can click on this link here, and this will give you a very quick snapshot of what the stock currently looks like. This is the last close, the current change. This is also today, 3-month change, 6-month change, the risk factor. This is something I also look at, and then the dividend yield. So for Wema Bank, it has a dividend yield of 7.04%. That's actually quite decent for a stock, a banking stock, especially since it seems to be doing very well. And there's a description up here. You can also take a look at, there's the fundamentals, which I kind of mentioned already. Okay, so yeah, gross profit and stuff like that. You can take a look at that very quickly for people that are very keen in the fundamental analysis. There are a list of directors. You can see that all that information is there. Then the one that I find is this. So these are their financial statements. You can go back to any point in time. For example, I can go back to say 2023 and look at the financial statement, or go back to 2024 and I can display the financial statement. So I was looking at Zenith Bank. So let's take a look at Zenith Bank again. So for financial statements. So these are Zenith Bank's financial statements for this year, right? 2024. And this is the latest one that came out probably not too long ago. So you can take a look at the financial statements to see what it's currently looking like. Now, so that I can make this go quickly, the financial statements show that Zenith Bank, for example, their profit between last quarter and this quarter has more than tripled. Their profit after tax from quarter, if you compare the quarters. So if I look at that and I like that, then the question becomes, okay, what should I do with that then? Now, the next thing, of course, is you want to take a position and want to trade it. Now, before I do that very quickly, one other thing that's interesting here that I believe you should know about is this price trigger area. This is something that I use. So price trigger simply means that if you buy or you've sold, because we have some positions already, you want to determine maybe your exit point. It could be, say, because there are a number of attributes you can use here. If the price is a certain level, volume is a certain level, and you can set your conditions, and these are conditions that I have set that are still active. And when this thing triggers, I get an email and I can take some action, which is either to buy or to sell. The other thing you can do is you don't actually have to trade everything. So this is a simulated portfolio. You can pretend like you just bought something and put it here and you can track it. Think of it like for back testing or anything like that you want to do. Yeah, other things here, my team will go through that. So now, if I want to take a position on that Zenith Bank or Wema Bank, as the case may be, then I come here to Idea Trader. So immediately I launch it, as you can see, it's a very seamless transition. Now, it's showing me we have a position with a number of brokers. So this is our position with APT. And we have a current gain level of right now 78 and have a certain balance there. Now, the other thing you can do is if you have multiple brokers or different brokers, for example, we have this account, manage account, right? So let me just show you very quickly. So these are our APT account, which is the default. I can make this, we have another account with Vectiva, which can make default, or I can simply switch to our Vectiva account. It's that seamless. So if I switch to the Vectiva account, go back to my dashboard, now this is my Vectiva account. And that's the amount of money we have there and the certain balance that we have there. I can click on this to see, analyze my portfolio, and it will use our AI-powered stuff to tell me certain things about my portfolio. This is my risk profile, essentially the weighted average beta. Beta represents risk. In the command area, by the way, you can type in a beta command and give you all stocks sorted by the beta, which will give you a quick indication of what kind of risk you're carrying. The average weighted P ratio, for example, and then you can see the different ones, the ones that are buys and the ones that. Now, what is very good about this is that, for example, ICO is a sell. It really means that we should consider taking a look at ICO, research it, and see if we can exit this position, because then we can take the funds and put it into something else. For example, put it into this either WEM or Zenith Bank that's now that are now strong that have been triggered to be buys or neutral as case may be. So again, just to show you how easy it is, I'm going to go back to our APT account. I'm just going to click on switch over and back to APT. So if I go back to my dashboard, you can see I'm back to the APT APT portfolio view. Now, so again, I'm going to run this through very quickly so that my team can show you the other things, and then we are always available to answer the questions and to explain more. So if I wanted to trade either WEMA or whatnot, just so let me do this again. So I'm at the dashboard. You can go to Trade Pro, Trade Wizard. I strongly advise everybody to go to the Trade Wizard. It's simply easier and seamless in terms of usage. The Trade Pro would essentially give you the IMDT type look here where you go to the market view and you can click here to trade. So, but this, I like easy life. So I want to buy, right? I click on that. Now, it's already curated the best performance, for example, stocks paying the highest dividend, most traded stocks by volume, all kinds. They are here, or you can trade all. This will give you all the equities or just ETFs. So I know I'm being mindful of time, so I'm just going to rush through this. So if I click on this, for example, I can go through, and these are the best performing stocks year to date so far. So it already selected, the AI selected all of them for you. And as you can see, I believe Wema Bank is actually already part of that list. And remember, Wema Bank was already triggered. So I just click on that. Now, these are the options that I have. I can do a market order or a market order Naira, market order shares, or limited order. It's interesting. Let me explain. Usually when you're trading, you're asked to impute the number of units. Trouble with that is that people don't really think in terms of units. We think in terms of how much you want to buy, right? So that's where this is about. Or you can go for a limit order. So, by the way, let me go back here. When trading, the advice is usually be careful, especially when a stock is volatile. So always go for a limit order, right? A limit order is always preferred because you're setting the price you want to buy it, and therefore you don't get surprised by what happens, and you don't get to purchase above that price. So, but for sake of ease, right now, I'm going to go for a market order. A market order means that if it's available and it's going to execute right away at whatever is the current market price. So the thing explains it quite right, and then now I can put something here. So I know we have so the current price of Wema Bank is 7 naira 15 kobo in the market right now, and now this 14. So I'm going to change this number here and say let me spend like say 5,000 naira buying this, then preview. So when I click on preview, it gives me what the estimated trade value would be. Note that I put in 5,000, but the estimated value is now 5,594. And that's the reason for that is because of commission fees and all other charges that comes in, SEC fee, VAT, and all that stuff that goes in. So if I click on submit, it's gone into the market right away. So I can either place a new trade, do a profit lock trigger, that's it, or you can set a trigger right away, or you can view trade status. If I go to trade status, you can see it's actually in the market right now, awaiting execution. And I need to refresh, boom, it's actually traded. I did this just to show you that this is real time. So I just bought the number of shares that I asked for, and look at this. Remember the market price, I think it was 750 or something like that, but the actual market price right now is 787 kobo. I didn't put a limit price. I bought at a significantly higher price than what seemed like I should buy it for, at least what it closed at yesterday. The Wema Bank must still be in momentum status. So if I go back to the dashboard, Wema Bank should reflect now as addition. You see, I spent 5,000 naira buying it, with all the deductions and current price. Because of what I spent, including fees, and what the current market price is, it shows me right away that I have a negative. This is because of fees, by the way. So I have a negative gain of minus 0.49%. So that's real time. So before I hand over to the rest of my team, I think I've spent a little bit much of my allotted time. I want to run through a few other commands that I think people will help people talk about. One of them is price list. The price list, yeah, like I said, there's a host of commands here that we'll be doing other webinars in which just go through commands and how you can maximize them. But I want to go to the reason why I bring up price list is people wait for brokers to get them price lists. But if you come here though, this is the 26th, so the day has not even closed. This is actually the price list. This is what is going on. You can go to any point in time, say you want to know the price list as of, let's assume 2023 or 2022, maybe same day. Well, 26 was Sunday, apparently that is. So if I go to 24th, so this is 24th of June 2020, and this is a price list. So I think this is something that, based on questions and requests that we got, people might want to know about you. So you can go to any point in time. You don't have to wait to start digging through email. You can come here and look at the price list right away. Another one that people should find interesting is a dividend. This command called div. By the way, it's actually easy to come here. If you don't know the command, you can say dividend, for example. I do that and it will narrow it down. It's a high yield. So once I do that, the numbers here show whether how many found, right? My what I type, what I'm searching for. You can see it's under NGS equity research. You don't have to actually know what everything is. Just do a quick type of a few characters here and to narrow it down. So if I click on that, so this is showing all the stocks with dividends, declared dividends last 60 days. So this one is 21st of June is actual payment date of dividend, which is just a few days ago. So you can always come here and you can, again, same thing, you can go back in time to the last few years to know exactly when a stock paid dividend. So these ones, for example, I mean, people tend to favor them because it might result in some upward trend. So my team, please just bear with me here. One other thing I want to point out is there's this PC command, peer correlation matrix, that is interesting. So the peer correlation matrix, what it does, that if you know of a stock, like I picked Wema, right? Let's take Wema for example. If maybe you missed out Wema, or maybe Wema was a buy 3 weeks ago or a week ago and you had forgotten it, you missed it. What you can do, the peer correlation stuff is saying, hey, I know this stock, right? Now give me other stocks that are similar to it so that I can look at those and see if those ones have yet to really gain the momentum. One reason is that stock of same type tend to move in tandem. Not always, but sometimes they correlate. So if I type Wema, it's going to give me all the other stocks that look like Wema. Of course, they're all financial type stock. Another thing, just to prove to you, if let's say we type Okomo oil, for example, Okomo, I think. If I type Okomo oil, now it's giving me other stocks that fall within that same category, like Presco, FT, Coco, and stuff like that. So that's, I think, something that will be that people can find interesting. Now, the other thing, one last one I'll go and then hand over to my team is this index makeup. So index makeup, we have a major command structure here somewhere in there, but so you can always do index makeup or something like that. But I know the command name, so just to, and then this NGS part, which will be the last one. So, but just to get it quick, it's ICN NGX30. So then let me pick the last trading date. So what this will do for you is that it will show you all the stocks that make up the NGX 30. So all the other indexes like banking index and stuff like that, they're all there. So if you want to know what are the stocks that make up the banking index, ETF index, you can do that. Last command that I'll show that I know is extremely popular, one of the best ones to look at is NGX performance, which is this guy here. It's one of my favorites. So I'll just click on it right here. The reason why I like NGX performance is that it gives you a very, very quick, simple overview about how each stock that's in the market. So it's showing all of the stocks on the NGX, all of them. And then this is their current daily change. So CWG is doing wonderfully well today. It's already done 10% as of this morning. Unilever is also doing fantastically. You can see the change last 5 days. So if you have bought into this is a bond ETF, by the way. If you had bought into this, you would have been up 96% in just 5 days, the last 5 days. This is week to date, this is the month to date, the quarter to date, and the year to date. Then there are a lot of other information out here. The beta, we compute beta so that you know then the volume. You want to track anything with very low volume, like this, for example. If you buy, okay, although that's an ETF, that follows different rules. So then the number of trades has happened already. So as of right now, today, this has already had 11 trades, so on and so forth. The value of the trades, their sector and stuff. And of course, all of this stuff, you can always click here and do a quick overview of stuff. Now, you can always narrow, I mean, there are lots of stuff, right? So if I want to see like when, for example, I can just type WE and it narrows it down, and then I can come here as usual, just click on here and I can launch the chatting engine so that I can take a look at the chat. So I think that's essentially what I just wanted to do a quick overview over. Now, remember, like I said, there is this social media, social chat room, so that, again, we have this webinar here. So if you have questions, anything I missed, or any topic you want covered, please feel free to reach out and ask the questions, and we'll be happy to respond. So with that, let me hand it over back to my team. So Tolu, I think we can hand it over to the next speaker. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your insightful session. Thank you for your presentation. We've been able to learn how we can use artificial intelligence to enhance our decision making and how to identify profitable opportunities and manage risk effectively. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so just to remind everyone and for people that just joined, so you can stay connected with us on our social media platform. The link to our social media platform will be posted on the chat box, so you can click on the link and just follow us on our social media platform. We encourage you to interact with our content by liking, commenting, and sharing. Your engagement will help us extend the benefit of our content to a wider audience. Thank you very much. Okay, so it is with great pleasure I introduce our next speaker, Mr. Omowale Babagbemi. He's the Senior General Management Manager here at InfoWARE. And the focus of his presentation will be on investing and managing risk with the aid of our AI-driven platform, and also utilizing the IMDT trading blotter for trading with multiple or segregated accounts. Thank you very much. Mr. Mawali, please let me know when you're ready for the presentation.
Yes, Tolu, thank you. I'm ready.
All right, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, please let me know if you can see my screen.
Okay, yes, I can see your screen, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time attending this webinar. So in the next few slides, we are going to, just like what my MD has explained on using the IMDT platform, we are going to build more context, and just so that we have a good understanding, okay, how do we start and how do we engage with the platform using the tools available. So, but before I go, deep dive, one thing we need about investing and managing risk, because there's quite a number of other information out there, right? Which is what is this about the market, right? What is the information about the market? What is the experience about investors? In the next slide, I'm going to show you the percentage of investors, which we've corroborated even with our own data. Now, looking at the news, we get this information a lot. These are, within the period of time, here's the gain, the market has gained this, and here's the loss people have made as investors. Now, these are facts, right? Yeah, the market is, goes up and down, and these are information. So how do you, manage your investment and risk? There's a risk with every investment, but there's a way you can use the appropriate tool, which we are going to show you on how you can manage your risk, and maximize, your return. So irrespective of the headline, when it's going up, you're getting something. Well, when it's going down, you also manage the downside. So these are things we'll be talking about and how you can use, the market data terminal as a tool to harm yourself to prepare and engage the market. So one thing about it is that a lot of times there's been a lot of engagement. We did a research some months back, and that's what informed this webinar and all of that. And we found that less than 3% of clients generally across actually trade or actually invest or have any portfolio or trade in the last 2 or 3 years about. And this is an article from Business Day that kind of corroborates that, what we have is, less than 3% of people that are actually investing in this market. And it's quite challenging considering the information and the safety. Sometimes ago I was chatting with my friend who does Forex and, and all of that. And like, oh, the Nigerian market is this and, is that and all of that. But the Nigerian market actually is more safer than Forex, has better return because how many people, yes, you can make a big buck in a day, but how many people actually make? 99% of people don't make any money, right? But the Nigerian market invests, but there's a little awareness. And even the people that knows about this information have this negative side because, typical when people get good, thing, they keep quiet. When it's bad, they shout and all of that. So there's a little awareness and misunderstanding that the market has cycles and you just need to know how to manage as a retail investor, as a professional investor to manage this cycle and use the appropriate tool, which Mr. O has explained earlier, to manage, the risk, which is the downside. So this is understanding of how the, investment and the tool is right there available for you to take advantage of. Okay, so we didn't want to come here and start talking theory and start stuff. So in the last 8 months or thereabout, we tried to use the AI, which I explained earlier, to make some stock selection and to be able to just manage risk, looking at the market and trending on the market and say, okay, it's enough of the talking. Let's put some real money to work and actually let's see how this thing plays out. And in the last 8 months, this has our return on portfolio. We've literally flipped our account by doubling the account, and you can see the returns on the investment. So this is to show the testament that the market actually delivers results, right? And your market actually delivers gains. Now, irrespective of what you see in the news, what you hear in the news, if you know what you're doing and you know the right tools and you're using the right tool, you manage your risk on the downside, then you can basically be able to take something on the bank. So this is a live account of one of our proprietary accounts, and that's to show you a decent overall return on the portfolio with 75% return on investment. So that's just showing you live account. So how do we manage risk? I think the Idea Trader was shown to you just a few moments ago. How do we manage risk, right? And we've dealt with a lot of retail investors, work with data for the last 10 years of data and looking at pattern and see that what the market have is oversaturation of information. The information is out there. Virtually every of our clients send daily price lists every day, and there's apps, there's this and information articles and all of that. But why are people still not losing money? From our empirical data analysis, more than 40% of investors have a losing position. When I say losing, they are really losing big in the market, right? And the form and we kind of like why this information are there, and this market have circuit breakers that manages, your down risk, and like the forex and crypto market. Why is this information not there? And our product development team came up with like the problem is that a lot of people are suffering from information overload, and they just want a kind of a guidance system to to help. So there was an AI project that was started to say, okay, why we have AI, everywhere, we're all familiar with the GPT of this world. Why can't we adopt same to manage risk, on um, the platform to help people, guide them, instead of, this oversaturation of information out there. And one of the things was built was the EDR Trader, which basically is an AI-driven technology. Now, most people as investors, they have what we call the analysts, financial analysts, that basically they work with, institutions, and they work with high net worth individuals. But to the average, person on the street with your little 100,000, might not be worthwhile for most brokers, but it's worthwhile to you. How do you get an analyst that basically guides you, and distill this information, just like what you can consume and use to make profitable decisions? So the AI was created, and what the AI does is to look at your portfolio. Now we understand that there are diverse investors, from the beginner to the intermediate to the um, advanced investors, right? And to say, okay, how do we communicate information? So here's an example snippet of how the system use technical language, which is like beta, the PE ratios, and, and what they mean, explaining it in terms of risk. So in this, say, for example, this portfolio, it says that I have a beta that is less than 1. So this portfolio mix carries a risk that is less than the entire market as a whole. So which means it's saying it's a good thing, and my portfolio return exceeds the performance of the ASI. However, if this is performed, so it tend to tell me that, okay, this is my portfolio mix, because a lot of time your portfolio mix determines how well you get return from the market. So this tells you, and if I have to rebalance, then all I need to do is to rebalance my portfolio, and the AI continues to monitor in real time and advise me. And the PE ratio is saying that my PE ratio is this, and I should consider, doing something. But after this is being done, we discovered that a lot of people still can't understand this, financial linguistics. And it's kind of like, what does this mean? So eventually, the AI was now saying, okay, why can't we, in research analysts give 3 information, right? Why can't the AI analyst, mimic a true analyst, which is having an analyst that tell you when to buy, to sell, or to hold? So the AI generates a signal, it's called signal, and it tells you if it's a neutral, that means you can hold and watch. It means that watch what is going on, right? And decide whether, I think, the last time Stella showed us chart, where the chart is probably consolidating, and as investors, you are concerned that the thing can go down or go up depending on, fiscal policies and decisions that have been made. So neutral means that just be on the guard and watch. Then you look at the access call, for example, is on hold. So it means that if you have it, you can hold it. You don't have to sell. Now look at ICO, for example, saying sell. Now what this is telling me is that I have to sell if I want to sell. Now, when we go into the other slide, there are different types of investor. But if you're a capital growth investor, when you get the signal, you want to check if the fundamentals support it, and then you can go ahead, make your decision. So with this, now we kind of now say that with this, an investor now has the information, the investor has the information at their fingertips for them to make an informed decision, right, as to whether they want to, the risk they are carrying with investing in their portfolio. And then you have, the analytics continuously being done as well. Okay, so with that context set, investing generally requires a balanced approach, which is like you have to just manage your risk management. And I think one of the things institutions have done very well, which retail is not probably catching up, is the institutions have learned to manage risk, But you as a retail investor, you have to manage your risk. As a professional investor, you have to manage your risk so that when it goes on the downside, you basically do a lot of things. Now, in terms of global performance, the Nigerian stock exchange market has, delivered an impressive stellar return, 45.90 ROI in 2023, right? And that's kind of impressive. So it means that there's a huge confidence in the market. And if you're not making money in the market, it's not the market, it is you. So you need to watch how you manage your risk. Diversification analysis and leverage technology, which we presented earlier on how you can apply technology. But you cannot show up, to a battle and you don't come with any tool. So, you have to come and prepare to basically manage your investments. So quite a number of things. I think the previous presenter has spoke about this information. And one of the information you get using things is that historical data. The IMDT has 10 years worth of data. So it's able to detect patterns, right? That it's not just about daily top gainers and top losers. You don't need that information, right? Because what is one day in the life cycle of an investment? Just also there are some trends, 6-month projection, 1-year projection, where are you going, the volatility. So quite a number of technical information is available. And these are things that you can use, using the IMDT to be able to make informed, decision about it. Now, the dividend information is that not everybody invests for capital growth. So if you're interested in dividend using the EDR trader, you can look at high dividend stocks. That means stocks that I think this year a lot of banks have paid, some good dividend, to their shareholders. So if you're not interested in the daily gain and loss, then you're interested in the dividend stock, using the EDR trader, you can basically get the best dividend stock and just earn, some decent return, from your investment. So the IMDT gives you opportunity to be able to track the market in real time, right? And to be able to use both real time and historical data. Now, this is quite a number of activities that need to be done, which is like the past. Then nobody can predict the future, but like they always say, history have a way of repeating itself. So you have to use this data, which the IMDT allows you to get, and also in real time. The dividend information is also for you to keep track of your dividend. So one of the things about the investing on the market is that you can get dividend payout, and you need to be aware of how this dividend are being paid, so you can basically keep track. And if you're holding those stocks, you can know how to get your dividend from the investment. So this on the IMDT, you can basically see dividend that have been paid in the last 60 days, or if there's a future dividend. So if you're on the lookout, you can basically look out for stocks that and when their dividend dates will be done. Also, the performance of every investment, you can track it, which stock is performing within a week, month on month, week on week. And the reason why you need this information is that if a stock is performing, right, most likely it might continue to perform. So if you're trying to invest or diversify your portfolio, you can be able to use the equity performance, NGX equity performance index, to be able to determine where you should invest, your funds. And then the price list, I think this has been mentioned by the previous speaker. Then the ASI, the performance of each stock, and then what's each stock and the ASI and the NGX 30 and all of that. So these are just information that are there. So, one thing is that historical data is very essential, and just looking at just 1 day, 2 days, 3 does not tell the true picture or the true value. And using the IMDT, you're able to aggregate over 10 years worth of data to be able to make informed decision, and to be able to see what's the price at. Is the stock making new highs? Is it making a new low? If it's making a new low, what's the probability of it coming up, or is it going to stay there? So those are information you can use to make well-informed decision about your investments. Okay, so just one about guiding investment decision. On the IMDT, there's what we call the indicators. which is like looking at the bid and the offer. Now you've decided you want to invest in the stock, you've done your research, you've done your analysis, and you want to invest. Now, one thing about it is that when you want to invest, timing is also very important in investments. So you have to know exactly, how to time your investment so you can basically go the right time. And using this indicator, you can see is the market, bullish or is it bearish? Are there more buyers than sellers than in the market? And then now if you're trying to invest and there are more sellers than buyers in the market, yes, that means that the timing is not right and all of that. So using this indicator, it kind of gives you an idea of the timing for you to be able to come in and stop. Now, the AI can do this, but AI, you also, there's AI and there's NI, natural intelligence. So you have natural intelligence, there's artificial, you combine it together, and then you make some good investment entry and exit position. So these are just sector analysis. I think the previous speaker has mentioned it, and how you can create your watch list and investment strategies, back test. There's a simulator on the terminal. So in case you don't want to invest, for beginners that are so concerned about losing real money, that's good. You can do the simulation on the terminal where you create your simulated portfolio, and then you see how well it plays out, your strategy plays out. Also, if you're a professional investor, you can also use the IMDT to simulate and see how well different strategy play out over time. Okay, so I think the IMDT, this is one of the portfolio, just to show, I think we spoke about the AI stuff, and here's one of the portfolio that had a 132% return, in just less than a year. So literally the account, got doubled as well. So that's using the power of AI. Okay, so lastly, before I round up, trading with multiple trading accounts using the IMDT trading portal. So there are times where, as investors, these are the categories of investors, the general broad category. And there's a time where you want to trade, with multiple trading accounts. So why do you have multiple trading accounts? It depends on different people. For a retail investor, you have one account maybe for this, another account. Probably you're a dad, you have for your kids, and you want to trade on behalf of your kids or some. Then you can use the IMDT to do a single interface, and you manage all the trades in one single interface whereby you can trade. If you're a fund manager, as a fund manager, you probably can trade, you can take ownership of your trade to your broker. So where a broker gives you the IMDT terminal, and then you can basically, as a fund manager, trade into your fund in real time. So you're concerned about giving your orders to your broker to execute on your behalf, and you want to do the execution yourself and all of that. As a fund manager, your funds account can be mapped to your profile, and you can basically trade, into your fund. If you're a sub broker, regional broker, pension fund, institutional, you can onboard as many using the IMDT and trade into those accounts. Sensitive account protection. If there are, some sensitive accounts and you want some traders as broker to be able to trade it, the IMDT trading portal allows you. So multiple trading accounts has different use case, and basically, irrespective of the use case, you basically you got it covered, irrespective of the type of investors that you have using the IMDT. Okay, so here's the trade plotter. It's a full-fledged trading platform like a broker. So as one thing about, if you look at the initial comment was made, was that most people feel they don't have the tools like broker. They feel like brokers have, all the tools and they cannot trade and all of that. So the IMDT provides you a tool that you can use and trade professionally. So it's not about the tool any longer, it's about the know-how. If you know the how, then you have the tool to be able to, do profitable investment. And this has been basically what we've been using ourselves. And also these are just as I was shown earlier, the results that we've observed in the last few months. Okay, so with that, I think this comes to the end of my presentation. Thank you everyone for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wale, for your session. But it was an insightful session. All right. So please, before we go into our Q&A session, I would just like to remind you that if you have any question, you can drop it in the Q&A chat box. And also for questions that will not be answered on this webinar because of due to time constraints, there is a discussion board on the InfoWARE Market Data Terminal that has been opened. And the title of the discussion board is Maximizing Profits, Learn the Strategies for Investing and Managing Risks in the Nigerian Capital Market. So when you drop your questions, our dedicated team members will answer your questions. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so we have a question here for CSC. That's Mr. Agbonile. Mr. Agbonile, please can you hear me? Please confirm you can hear me. Mr. Wa. Okay, all right. So I think okay, Mr. Wale, before Mr. Wa answers this question, Mr. Wale, I have a question here for you. I don't know if you can answer the question now.
Okay.
Okay, all right. The question is, how do global influences affect the Nigerian market, and how can investors stay informed about this impact?
Okay, yes, very well. So the market, which is the Nigerian market, does not play in a vacuum. It basically, the global activities affects the market from FX, to oil and oil prices and all of that. So, but just to cut the long story short, it's about access to information, right? If you have an investment, how do you know what affects what using the, information that is available to you? And one of the things is by, reading from experts that knows how this information have impact. And one of the reasons, I think in the last presentation, Mr. Owa showed ProShare report analysts and several analyst reports on IMDT, where you actually have analysts who kind of write about, the impact, what does this mean? Which sector is being impacted? If there's a global oil shortage, which sector is impacted, and how do you, rebalance your portfolio and react? So using the IMDT, you can log into and see a lot of analyst reports and just learn from their insights, and you'll be able to make appropriate decision from their, insights.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Wale, for that question. So I have another question here for you, Mr. Wale.
Yeah.
Okay, how can investors efficiently manage and monitor multiple trading accounts to ensure optimal performance, and what tools or platform are recommended for this purpose?
Okay. So the multiple trading accounts, depending on the business type, which is, like I mentioned, it could be a fund manager, right? A fund manager has multiple funds they are managing. A retail basically could have, money so in child accounts and all of that. So using the IMDT, you can basically trade into any of those accounts. Then also monitoring is very important, which is terms of valuation. So when you log in, you have a console, you can switch into any of the portfolio accounts, and then you can basically build the valuation. Now, if it's your own account, probably you have multiple, it's a member transfer, and you have those trading accounts, you can see a consolidated view of all your portfolio. So if, in case you buy, let's say, stock into a trading account, and you buy the same stock into another trading account, you can have a global view of that portfolio as a consolidated view, and you can track the returns, on investment in real time. So if there's a need for you to, rebalance or sell part of it in case you are carrying a lot of risk holding a particular stock across your trading account, you can access that information using the IMDT to check your valuation statement. And also the brokers also do send, if you have your trading account with the broker also send a monthly portfolio valuation statement. So if you pay attention to those valuation statements, you can also monitor, your portfolio trading accounts together.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Hua, I don't know if you can hear me now. We have a question for you. Okay. All right. Before he comes back, Mr. Wale, the last question for you. So, how can investors use IMDT platform to set risk and to set effective risk management strategies? So, the question is, how can investors use the IMDT platform to set effective risk management strategies? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Um, so the high entity platform provides quite a number of information that allows you to manage your risk, which is in terms of setting alerts. So let me just say practical. So we want to be practical here. So if one thing about market is that when you enter a market, you have what we call like your take profit, and then you have what we call your stop loss. So if the market doesn't go the way you plan it, you can basically, say when you want to. So the INDT provide what we call the price trigger. The price trigger is that, okay, if I'm entering this market at this time, I should have an idea that if this market doesn't go my way, when am I exiting the market? So you set a notification to say, okay, tell me when the price, and you don't have to monitor the market. A lot of times it's very difficult monitoring the market. We all have our day job that we are doing, and doing this thing is a lot of hassle. So you set the alert, and the system monitors it continuously, and immediately the price reaches that point, it sends you a notification. Likewise, if you have a take profit target, maybe you have a price you're targeting, or you have your break even price, you can set it on the IMDT, and then once it gets to that point, the system generates a notification and get it on your email. Practically, I've basically sometimes I set the trigger and I've forgotten about that stock maybe 2 months ago. Then you just get the alert that the price has been hit, and then which means that you cannot take a decisive action. You can even put a note. There are times whereby you've forgotten why you even set it. You can put a note so that when the notification comes to you, you not only get the notification, you also get the action that is required of you. So with that, you can also manage it. Also, the EDR trader, which you mentioned, if you log in, the AI also gives you recommendation. You can also take that and add it as part of your own risk management tool to know when to buy a stock, or when to exit a stock, and how long to hold that stock. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wale, for providing that insightful answer to the question. All right, Mr. Hua, we have a question here for you. Okay, sir. So the question is, there are little education of the public about investing in the capital market. Indeed, the operations of the market presently is more like an airline thing. How and when can the Nigerian capital market space be democratized for the ordinary Nigerian to see the need to participate? Let me take the question again, sir. There are little education of the public about investing in the capital market. Indeed, the operations of the market presently is more like an elite thing. How and when can the Nigerian capital market space be democratized for the ordinary Nigerian to see the need to participate?
Okay, now thanks for the question. That's a very broad question. I think my interpretation of the question is that people feel left out because it seems like an exclusive club with the brokers having all the knowledge, and a lot of times people have to go talk to a broker to do anything. So how that can be addressed and how we're addressing it is really what we're doing right now. That going forward, each individual investor, right? Because it's all about financial inclusion and making the better life for yourself. How do you better yourself? How do you put some of your money to good use so that it can yield better returns? Is this tool that we're showing right now, which is using tools like IMDT and Idiot Trader to do things yourself, and then using the AI capabilities it presents to match the equivalent of what the so-called quote unquote elite are capable of doing. So I think Wally showed it, and I shared some, but Wally has shown it in detail that if you use Idiot Trader, and you're looking at your portfolio, it can tell you what kind of signals are showing, whether it's a strong buy, strong sell, neutral, where you want to keep or you want to hold. You can set price triggers, for example. I can tell you, okay, when it reaches this price, because you have a full-time job, usually you're not a full-time broker. So you don't want to be looking at the market on a daily basis. So these tools are now available. And then, of course, EDI Trader makes it easy so that you can pick any broker you want and be able to do it yourself by selecting the broker with ease. So I think so the short answer to the question is to empower, and that's what InfoWARE is doing. That's our mission right now, to empower the individual investor, so that everybody rises to the point of being an elite themselves. And it's actually not that hard, as you've seen. You just log in, you look at the basket of stocks that are available. Even if you don't want to research everything, if you go to EDI Trader, you show you that curated list, like the best performance, the best dividend, and you can focus on a narrow set, and then you can take it from there. I think that's the answer that I'll give to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, sir. Okay. Thank you all for joining the webinar today. So this is for questions that we did not answer. Please, you can check the discussion board on the IMDT platform. So answer a few of those questions. And also, if you have questions or comments, please just post on the IMDT platform, on the discussion board on the IMDT platform. Our team members will attend to you. As we conclude today's webinar, I want to extend our sincere thanks to...
So look, can I make a quick comment, please?
All right, sir. All right, sir.
Because I'm seeing, it looks like there are it's quite a number of questions that we may not be able to get to because of time. And I want to re-emphasize to what you're saying, that people should try as much as possible to go to the social chat group, to go and put these questions there, and then we can continue the conversation there as much as possible, to probably see if we can actually put some of these questions there ourselves. But we'll strongly advise that we'll use the chat group so that because we want to continue the engagement, right? So I just want to put that out there very quickly. So back to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. All right. So as we conclude today's webinar, I want to thank the panelists, Mr. Owa Bonile and Mr. Omowale Babagbemi. Thank you very much for your insightful presentations and your sessions. And I want to thank our participants also. Thank you for taking time out to join this webinar. We hope that this webinar has increased your knowledge and has given you the right tools for making strategic investment choices. And we promise to also organize more webinars, more educative webinars to help you in your investment journey. Your engagement and your insightful questions have made this session truly, truly, truly valuable. Thank you very much. So for any further questions, like Mr. Uwa said, please just visit our discussion board. Also, to just remind you, please follow us on our social media pages, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook, and on TikTok. You can follow InfoWARE Limited on all the social media platforms, so you keep up to date with articles we'll be posting, with content we'll be posting to help you in your investment journey. Thank you all once again, and we look forward to see you at our future events. Thank you very, very much, everyone, for joining. Thank you.